Good afternoon. I am Coach Shannon, one of your 9.0 English coaches at the Cabantuan branch. Welcome to our lecture this Saturday afternoon. I know it's supposed to be your rest day, but you chose to spend your afternoon with me to learn about your speaking test in IELTS. It is one of the most exciting parts of your IELTS test, and that's why it's actually located at the end of the test, okay? Exciting siya because it's the shortest. It will only take you 15 minutes maximum to accomplish your speaking test. Unlike the other three components, listening, reading, writing, an hour each. Okay? Before we start our lecture today, I think tapos na ako makipagchikahan sa inyo and I had fun. Thank you for being very interactive and I hope na ma-maintain nyo yung ganitong interaction even in our discussion because I don't want it to be a boring, dull discussion. I want you to participate and I want you to really actively answer questions whenever I ask for your participation, okay? Don't worry, I won't be asking you difficult questions. I just want to check from time to time kung andyan ka pa ba or baka nakatulog ka na. Kasi I know you can get comfy in the convenience of your home. You're probably laying down right now or whatever. Pero try to focus as much as possible para ma-apply nyo lahat ng matututunan nyo today sa ating magiging coaching sessions sa darating na week. I suggest grab every opportunity that you have to undergo coaching. Okay? So, let me begin today's session with a little bit of a motivational talk, as I always do. And I feel like that's necessary to set the mood and for you to have a little bit of a push, okay? Baka kasi walang masyadong nagpupush sa inyo, ako na yun. I will do it for you. Okay, so as I said earlier, I respect everyone's religion, whatever it is. Um, Pero naniniwala ko that most people in the Philippines, and I believe you guys, are also believing that there is a higher being, our Father, the Lord, right? And as I was talking about prayers earlier, I really believe that prayers move mountains, prayers work, because words are manifested. Your faith can be manifested. I did mention earlier that I'm praying that soon he will answer my long desired prayer, which is to have my own baby. Okay, because I'm already in my 30s and I feel like I'm a bit pressured. Not that much kasi naman I know that everything falls into place at the perfect timing. Okay? Pero pag para sa'yo yung isang bagay, nothing in this world can stop it from being yours. Take note of that. Pag para sa'yo. And nothing can stop that from happening. Okay? One thing you have in mind right now is the target score for your IELTS. Pag para sa'yo, ang pag-alis mo, ang pagkakaroon ng better future abroad, mangyayari yun. But you have to work hard. Okay? You have to pray hard and you have to manifest it. Pero hindi sapat yung prayer lang. Kailangan yung prayer mo may faith. Pag sinabi kasing faith in action, it means naniniwala kang mangyayari yon, pero naniniwala ka rin na kailangan mong gawin yung part mo. Can I get an amen for that? Diba? As cliche as it may sound, nasa Diyos ang awa, nasa tao ang gawa. Pinagpe-pray mo yung isang bagay, but your actions are not aligned towards your goal. So what's the point? Let that register right now. Kung may pinagdadasal ka at hindi naman naka-align yung mga decisions mo sa buhay, yung mga daily choices mo, at yung hard work, hindi naman naka-align sa goal mo, hindi ka naman, you're not working, you're not striving hard for that specific goal, then how is manifestation going to really happen? Because in a verse that I read in the Bible, Psalms 37:5, let me read it for you. Na para bang talagang nasa Bible study tayo right now, ano? Yung coach na, pastora pa. Psalm 37:5. In the book of Psalms, this is one of the best books in the Bible. Commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act. This is according to, I think this is the NIV version, New International Version. Magkakaiba po ang version sa Bible, pero ito na yung pinakamadaling intindihin. Commit your way to the Lord. Commit. It's asking you to commit, meaning it's asking you to give your all. When we say commit, you will do everything it takes to reach your goals. Trust in Him and He will act. Now, isi-simplify ko pa tong verse na to. I think the main message here is that God is telling you, I will do it for you. But do what you can do. Do what you can do and trust Him with the rest. Alam mo yan? So you pray, you work hard, you strive towards your goal, and that's the key to manifesting the life that you're dreaming of. The future self that you are looking forward to see. Okay? When we say commit yourself, it means kailangan may tiwala sa Kanya. Mali yung prayer ko nung medyo bata pa ako. I would ask God to grant my desires in my heart. Pero tinanong ko yung sarili ko, are my desires aligned to His desires? Kasi pwedeng yung mga desires ko, hindi pala ikakabuti ko. So sometimes there are prayers that are not answered or they are delayed because may mas maganda pa siyang nakalaan for you. Okay? But let's go back to the main point here. Na kung hindi ka naman nagko-commit, if your daily study habits are not committed to your goal, how can you achieve that target band score? And let me just clarify, we have a required band score for your IELTS depending if you're applying for a student visa, work visa, kung academic test or general training test, if you're applying for PR whatsoever. Kailangan alam mo kung ano yung nire-require na band score ng institution, ng establishment, na kung ano mang ina-applyan mo abroad. You have to know for sure kung kailangan mo lang ba ng overall band score or kailangan mong makapasa sa lahat ng skills. Listening, reading, writing, walang bababa sa band score na ibinigay nila. Yun yung required band score. Pero ang target band score na sinasabi ko, ito yung ita-target mo na makuha consistently bago ka mag-book ng exam. Hindi inuuna ang pagbubook ng exam. Kailangan mo munang final assessment from your coaches, me or Sir Kevin. Writing, speaking, at ipakita mo sa akin kung consistent ka na bang nakakakuha ng listening score at saka reading score na target band score mo, which is 0.5 or 1 point higher than the required band score. Okay? So let's say ako, nag-a-apply ako ng student visa pa Australia at ang kailangan ko walang bababa sa 7 in all my skills. So, ang ita-target ko ngayon, nakaka 7.5 ako sa lahat. Listening, reading, writing, speaking. Kung gusto kong mas extreme pa doon, kailangan nakaka-8 ako sa lahat ng mock test ko for consistently. Consistently, okay? Sabihin na natin tatlong mock test na nakaka 7.5 to 8 na ako. Tatlong coaching sessions na nakaka 7.5 to 8 na ako. Yun na yung sign ko na pwede na ako mag-exam. That's why, isa sa mga common mistakes ng mga test takers is binubook mo na nila yung exam. Hindi sila nagkakaroon ng sapat na time at study structure. Kasi nape-pressure na sila sa date ng exam. Alam ko naman yung iba sa inyo nape-pressure sa mga agency, sa pamilya nyong abroad na nanghihingi na ng results. Pero alalahanin nyo, kung ayaw nyong masayang yung mga binabayad nyo sa inyong exam, I'm sure hindi naman yun maliit na halaga. 14 something, di ba? It's 14K something na ang isang exam. One skill retake, 9K mahigit. If you're gonna retake it, you're gonna spend roughly 30K. Or kasama pa yung review fee. Magkano ba bayad niyo sa review fee? Hindi na ako updated. 7.5 ba? O let's say 7.5 plus 14.5. 14 plus 14, 28. Plus 7.5. So that's 35.5. Malaking halaga rin yung may invest mo. Ay, malaking halaga rin yung financial damage kung paulit-ulit mong iti-take yung exam. At bakit ko to sinashare? Kasi marami na tayong naging students na gano'n ang nangyari. Because the thing is, IELTS is a language assessment test. Hindi ito something na kailangang instantly, overnight, makukuha mo. It takes time. It takes familiarization. It takes months in order for you to improve your English proficiency, especially if you are starting at the beginner level. Okay? And especially kung limited yung oras mo sa pag-practice. Okay? It will really depend. The trajectory of your success will depend on your daily habits. So, you have to incorporate English every single day through all those 4 components: listening, reading, writing, speaking. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about the common mistakes in speaking. Let me share with you the grading criteria first for our IELTS speaking test. We have fluency and coherence, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, pronunciation. Those are the 4 grading criteria of your IELTS test in speaking. Each one accounts for 25% of your score. I-discuss natin yan isa-isa. What is fluency and coherence? Lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, pronunciation. We will discuss each of these para malinaw sa inyo, okay? Okay. Let's begin with fluency and coherence. Saan ko ipapwesto sarili ko? Okay, I think here. Yes, that's much better. Okay. Fluency, let me make it simple. Fluency is about how smooth your answers sound. The smoothness talks about how natural your English is when you speak. Yung tipong hindi mo kailangang i-explain ng paulit-ulit yung isang bagay para magets ng isang tao. Walang hesitation, hindi nagsastutter, hindi low confidence, at hindi uutal-utal, hindi rin hihinto-hinto. That is the sign of a fluent person. Okay? Yung isang sentence pa lang, gets na agad kung ano yung sinasabi mo. Right? That measures your fluency. That's why, hindi mahalaga dito kung gaano ka kabilis magsalita kung hindi naman din maiintindihan ni examiner yung sinasabi mo. Speed does not always mean that a person is fluent. Hindi porket mabilis magsalita, ibig sabihin that person is already fluent in a particular language. Because fluency measures your ability to speak at length. Meaning, kaya mo bang mag-discuss ng isang topic using supporting details and examples without excessive pausing, searching for words, yung tipong nalilito ka kung anong vocabulary words ang gagamitin mo because hindi natural sa'yo na mag-isip ng English words. Hindi agad pumapasok sa isip mo yung English translation ng words. At pinakamahalaga sa lahat, hindi nagsa-self-correct. Isa to sa mga pinaka common na ginagawa ng ating mga students ng IELTS. Laging nagsa-self-correct. Akala mo masasalba ka ng self-correction, but no. The only thing that self-correction does to your score is it lowers it down because when you are self-correcting, you're actually highlighting your mistake, making it more obvious, imbes na hindi na masyadong narinig ni examiner na nagkaroon ka ng grammatical slip, but because you corrected yourself in the middle of the sentence, boom! Mas nakita pa niya yung mali mo at matatake note pa niya yun. Okay? You know, a fluent person knows how to connect ideas from one to another. Ibig sabihin, meron siyang sapat na knowledge when it comes to transition words. We also call them discourse markers, how you begin a sentence and how you continue it. Okay? Because fluency and coherence is about the logical flow of your thoughts. And if hindi natatrain ang isip natin na mag-isip in English, mahirap magsalita. Because everything starts from the way you think. Akala natin yung mga words natin yung nagiging whenever you say something painful, minsan unconsciously you say something painful. Tanga na ito, bobo. 'Di ba? Mahilig ang mga Pilipino sa mga ganyang way of speaking. But you know what? People who speak that way, dito pa lang may diferensya na. Why? Because our words are projecting what our thoughts are and what our insecurities are. Okay? That's why it all starts with the way you think. Nagmamanifest siya sa words mo. Okay? So, the way you think is very important. Kung hindi trained ang isip mo in the English medium, ang lalabas dyan, Tagalog words. Kaya sa mga mock interviews namin, marami pa rin nagkakaroon ng slips. They utter Tagalog words during the interview. Kahit na isa sa pinaka ni-remind namin sa kanila, sa mga students, is bawal mag-Tagalog. This is an English proficiency test. Why the heck would you speak in Tagalog, right? So, it all starts here, in the way you think. That's why ang una natin kailangang i-train, bago mo i-train yung speaking mo, is yung thinking mo. Okay? In one of my discussions, I think a few weeks ago, my topic was think in English. Habits that you could create every single day. Habits that you can build. daily habits on how it will help you attain a mind that can automatically think in English. Okay? May mga may mga supplementary videos ako na pwede kong isend sa inyo. I'm not gonna send it sa Schedule 2.0. If you want the link, I can just send it to you through PM. Sinesend ko kasi ito sa mga students na nagpapa-private coaching sa akin. Kasi hindi aligned yung schedule nila sa schedule ng Niner. That's why they availed it. So, yun. Sinesend ko sa kanila yung mga ganong videos. Kasi, as basic as it may sound, it's the foundation of fluency. Okay? Now, let's talk about lexical resource, aka vocabulary. The words that come out of your thoughts. Okay? Okay. If the examiner notices that yung level ng vocabulary mo, hindi siya align sa mga pasulput-sulput na words na binibitawan mo, if it doesn't sound natural in the context that you use a specific word, hindi ka pa rin bibigyan ng mataas na score sa lexical resource. What am I talking about? Yung tipong sa first few sentences pa lang kasi ng sagot mo, gauge na agad ni examiner kung ano ang level mo sa vocabulary. At alam niya rin, kaming mga coach at mga examiners, alam na namin if pilit lang yung paggamit ng isang word. Pilit kasi yung goal mo, ma-impress si examiner. Pero alam din namin kapag natural lang na lumalabas ang mga expressions at difficult words sa tao. Kasi ina-assess namin holistically lahat. Yung variety of sentences, yung sentence structure, yung lexical resource, kailangan all of that, they are correlated. Okay? So kung hindi namin nakikita yung rhythm ng language mo na meron siyang cohesiveness at unity, hindi ka din namin i-score ng mataas sa lexical resource kahit na gumamit ka pa ng pinakamahirap na word. Kung yung iba mong sentence structure, alam namin na hindi siya ganun kataas yung level, hindi ka pa rin makakasecure ng mataas na lexical resource. So, score sa lexical resource. Kaya naman, examiners are looking for the ability to use when necessary. Less common idiomatic language naturally and paraphrase effectively when necessary. Okay? We know kung kaya mo at we know kung hindi mo kaya. That's why naniniwala ako, binibuild up natin ang inyong vocabulary. Hindi siya instant. It really takes time. Okay? So, ang pinakamagandang tip na mabibigay ko sa inyo when it comes to building your vocabulary is what comes in, comes out. Garbage in, garbage out. So you have to feed your mind with intellectual materials, educational materials, whether it's through a podcast, through watching videos, or through reading. It needs to be constant. The more exposed you are in the English language, the better your vocabulary will be. Ganun lang yun. You need constant listening, constant reading. Okay? And we need to start with simple first. Kung ang level mo ngayon ay nasa band 5 ka pa lang, ang aaralin mong mga level ng words ay pang band 5 to 6. Pag medyo gamay ka na sa 5 and 6 level up tayo sa 7. Unti-unti, okay? Pero you don't need to rush it. You don't need to rush it. Take your time. Okay? So, let me talk about the next, which is grammar. Okay. When it comes to grammar, a lot of native speakers make mistakes in grammar as well. They're not very particular when it comes to grammar rules. But I'm not saying that you will not be graded, because you will still be graded on your grammar and it's still 25% of your score. Pag meron kang mga inevitable, subtle corrections sa grammar mo, it's okay. It will not highly affect your score. But if there is a big number of accumulated mistakes, that's when bababa yung score mo sa grammar. Pag totally hindi na naiintindihan yung sentence structure mo, at you constantly use the wrong verb tenses, it can hinder comprehension. That's why it can highly affect your score in grammar. Pero good news, pagdating sa speaking, hindi ganun ka-importante si grammar, hindi katulad sa writing. But always remember, grammar may not be as important in speaking as it is in writing, but it does not mean that grammar is not important. That's why every week we are constantly incorporating grammar lectures. Kasi we need to address the most common mistakes that test takers have committed when it comes to grammar. Verb tenses, prepositions, pronouns, quantifiers, articles, determiners. Yan yung pinaka-common. Comma splices. A lot. Okay? And lastly, but not the least, definitely this is not the least. Ang likot. Okay, dyan na lang talaga ako. Promise. Definitely this is not the least, because pronunciation is actually the most important among the four. They're all important, but pronunciation is the most important. Because if your language, if your speech is not clear enough, it can create a lot of problems. That's why one of our lectures this coming week will be solely about pronunciation. Please attend our lecture face-to-face on Wednesday, because the pronunciation lecture can only be done face-to-face. And that's on Wednesday. Hindi tayo lahat confident when it comes to our pronunciation, because even though we are highly influenced by Americans who colonized our country, Filipinos still have a lot of insecurities when it comes to pronunciation, because we have a lot of local ways and mannerisms when it comes to pronunciation. Tama ba? I'm not talking about accent here, because accent is totally different from pronunciation. You can have an accent and still cannot pronounce words clearly. So, magkaiba yon. A person can have a strong South Korean accent, but can still pronounce English words correctly, accurately, and clearly. So it doesn't matter if you have an accent. What matters is words are pronounced clearly and correctly. Syllables are pronounced, enunciated correctly, and your rhythm of speech sounds natural. Meaning, hindi ka robotic. It doesn't sound memorized. Okay? Hindi ka nag-i-interchange ng consonant sounds. Hindi ka nag-i-interchange ng vowel sounds. Kasi isa yan sa mga pinaka-common mistakes sa pronunciation eh. Okay? Alright, so it's already been an hour. Let's have a quick break and we'll be back. 3 to 5 minutes lang. If none, then I guess we can proceed with the discussion. Okay. I want you to look at this photo and try to think of any word that best describes his facial reaction. You can chat your answers on the chat thread. Any word that you can think of. How does he currently feel? He looks shocked and he probably has a headache. Thank you, Rai. That's a very good answer. How about AJ and Ronell? Okay. Any other answer aside from shocked? Confused and nervous. Okay. All your answers are correct. So, right now, he must be feeling overwhelmed, tensed, frazzled, uncomfortable, shell-shocked, worried, anxious, wired, mentee B. Mentee B is a Gen Z term, which means mental block. I'm currently mentee B. Okay. So, this is all the emotions that you could actually feel when you are about to take your speaking test. And probably this is how you feel every time you're about to have your one-on-one coaching session with me or Sir Kevin. Tama ba? Lahat ng students ko pumapasok ng room ng may kaba sa dibdib na talagang hindi na maipaliwanag yung facial expression. Yung iba naman, they use their pen and they fidget a lot. Yung iba naman, hindi makagawa ng eye contact. They keep looking at the ceiling or at the floor or side by side. Sa sobrang anxious. And it's normal. I want you to know that the feeling is normal. Because that's how we feel whenever we attempt to do something for the first time. Tama ba? I want you to recall yung pinakaunang beses nyong to try riding a bicycle. Were you confident on the very first time? As a kid, naniniwala ako lahat kayo natutong magbike nung bata pa kayo, right? As a kid, medyo okay pa. It pacifies our feelings when we think that the bicycle has the support, the 2 extra mini wheels for support, because it balances the bicycle. But the role of a bicycle is for you to learn how to balance. Kaya naman, eventually, you're gonna rid of those 2 extra mini wheels and you're just gonna ride the bicycle on your own. But at first, you will be frazzled and anxious, tense, because hindi ka pa marunong mag-balance. That's why now, dito papasok si coaching session. The reason why we are pushing you to undergo coaching sessions, and the minimum, the standard is for you to have a minimum of 10 coaching sessions before taking the exam, is because Constant practice and exposure to a specific situation and procedure will give you familiarity, will build your confidence so that on the examination date, you are well equipped, you are well practiced, and definitely you're 100% ready because preparation is key. Maraming beses nyo na narinig yun sa buhay nyo, preparation is key. But here I am reminding you, yes, preparation is key. Okay? Bear that in mind. Kaya naman sana hindi na ako nahihirapang mag-push sa inyo pagdating sa coaching. Pag sinabing may open slots, grab that. Show me you want it. 'Di ba? Show the universe how much you want something. Don't be intimidated because the reason why you're going to go through coaching is for you to sharpen your speaking skills. O kung wala kang magandang speaking skills, hindi sharpen, but establish. Or let's start with learning the basics, okay? We all start from somewhere. Nung unang beses akong inintroduce ng personal trainer ko sa strength training, which is weightlifting, my initial reaction was no, I don't want that. I am intimidated. I know nothing about strength training. I don't know about forms. I don't know how to use the equipment. Isa pa naman sa pinaka-ayokong nararanasan sa buhay ko nagmumukha akong tanga. Imagine, nasa gym ka, you don't know how to use the equipment, you don't know how to pull yung mga kailangang i-pull para ma-switch siya sa ibang angle. Tapos may mga lift, iniiba-iba mo pa yung weights pagdating sa mga machine. I knew nothing about it. Kaya ang ginawa ko, I kept postponing. Sabi ko, coach, next week na lang. Coach, next month na lang. Coach, ayoko to. I felt that too. But the moment I decided to face my fear, that's the moment I started to learn. And now, hindi ko masasabing 100% yung confidence level ko kasi nakaka 2 months pa lang naman ako in my strength training journey. At ngayong July lang ako naging consistent. But what's the difference between a person who doesn't show up and a person who shows up? Definitely, there's progress. Every time na pupunta ako ng gym, I learn something new. Because I allow my trainer to teach me. I have a coachable attitude. Hindi ako naggagaling-galingan sa gym kasi alam ko sa sarili ko hindi ko alam yung gagawin. That's why I hired a coach to do it for me, to teach me. Kasi alam ko, without someone who knows exactly what she's talking about or what he's talking about, I wouldn't learn. Oo, mapapanood ko siya sa mga YouTube videos, sa mga TikTok videos, pero kung wala akong coach, malalaman ko ba na dapat may pahinga in between reps? No. So kung wala kang coach at walang nagsasabi sa'yo na ito yung weakness mo sa speaking, kailangan mo mag-focus sa grammar, kailangan mong improve yung pronunciation mo, kailangan mas fluent ka. If nobody's gonna tell you that, how can you expect progress in your speaking test? Very important is constant practice. Stay consistent. Grab every opportunity you can grab na magpa-coaching. And pinaka-importante sa lahat, have a coachable attitude. Isa yan sa mga kulang sa mga tao nowadays. Because we are in an era, napaka-hyper-independent natin. Akala natin makukuha ng AI lahat. Yes, makakapag-practice ka through AI, but you know what? AI is just going to tell you whatever you want to hear. But us, your coaches, we're going to tell you things that you don't want to hear, but that's something that you need to hear. That's the difference between AI and personal face-to-face coaching. We, your coaches, we know how to empathize, and we also know how to manage your emotions. Okay? Isa sa mga pinakamagandang narinig ko na comment from my students, "Ma'am, hindi mo lang ako tinuruan ng speaking skills. You helped me build my confidence." I'm not in any way bragging, but that's what your coach is supposed to do. Help you build your confidence. Not only teach you the skills, the strategies, techniques. Yung mga yan, kaya nyong i-access yan online. But building your confidence is something that your coach can do. Because words are powerful. My demeanor on how I coach you is powerful. So, don't be intimidated. I-judge namin kayo, yes. But you need to hear that judgment. And at your age, you have to know what constructive criticism is. Because a person who doesn't accept constructive criticism does not grow. Ang daming tao matatalino, pero hindi lahat nag-grow because they are not teachable. They are not coachable, and they do not accept constructive criticism. Sadly, may mga emotional delay talaga yung mga ganong tao. But don't let you yourself to be like that. We want progress here. And if you want progress, you have to attend coaching sessions. By the way, it's part of what you paid for. It's part of the package. So what's holding you back? Right? Diyos ko, weekend na weekend, naninermon si ma'am. Hindi ako naninermon. I'm just telling you the truth. Because I have encountered so many students, kaya hindi sila nag-grow, kaya walang progress, is because they don't want to attend coaching sessions. Common mistakes with fluency and coherence. Let's start with number 1, stuttering and fillers. Okay, let me give you an example of how a person who stutters sound like. Well, I've worked on similar projects before, but I think most like the most challenging part was managing the tight deadlines. Parang wala kang naintindihan sa sinabi ko. Kung hindi mo to nakikita right now, hindi mo naintindihan yung sinabi ko. Tama ba? Stuttering and fillers destroy your fluency. Let me say it without stuttering and without any fillers. Well, I've actually worked on similar projects before, but I think the most challenging part was managing the tight deadlines. Nakita mo yon kung gaano ka-smooth yung atake ng sentence ng sagot ko? Kasi walang stuttering, walang fillers. Stuttering means umuutal-utal. Uutal-utal magsalita. Excuse my Tagalog. I'm just not that good at it. I'm good pero I make mistakes, okay? Ayokong i-identify ang sarili ko na hindi ako magaling sa Tagalog. That's my mother tongue. I have to be good at it. I just made a mistake. Okay? So what I'm saying here is, stuttering is yung nauutal-utal ka pag nagsasalita. Maaring yun yung way mo magsalita kasi hindi ka sanay na nagsasalita in front of someone. Hindi ka sanay na nag-undergo ng interview, hindi ka sanay sa pressure. That's why coaching offers you familiarity, building your confidence, because you will constantly go through that same pressure that you will feel on the exam date, which will cause you to minimize or eliminate your stuttering forever. Okay? Pero kung hindi ka nagpa-practice, forever kang magsa-stutter kasi forever kang kabado. Pero sa umpisa lang ang kaba. Sa umpisa ka lang overwhelmed at nervous. After 10 sessions natin sa coaching, tingnan natin kung talaga bang walang improvement yung speech mo. Okay? Some people need more than 10 sessions. I get it. Pero normally, after 10 sessions, may progress man, kahit gaano ka konti. Okay? Fillers are words that we inject in sentences na akala natin maganda pakinggan. Even native speakers have a lot of fillers, but actually, it ruins the fluency and the coherence of your speech. Yung word na like. Meron akong Korean student, magaling naman na siya mag-English, pero ang dami niyang fillers. Lagi siyang nag inject ng word na like. Pwede rin ang maging filler mo ay yung word na really or very. Isa yan sa mga pinaka-common na filler among Filipinos. So, tinanong ko siya, hey, Charlie, how was your vacation in Taiwan? I heard that you went there with your family for a week. So, tell me about it. Ganito yung sagot niya. Uh, well, teacher, I kind of like Taiwan because, like the food was so good and like the people were so nice. And like I really enjoyed it because my brother and I we played at the stadium and like we watched a lot of football players at the stadium and like we ate popcorn there. Pangit, no? Yeah. Fillers are so annoying and definitely unnecessary. That's why hindi mo kailangan ng fillers. You need to eliminate it. Okay? Kung hindi man kayang eliminate, pwede namang i-minimize. The causes of stuttering and fillers is number one of them is you're trying not to commit fillers. Ino-overthink mo. Sabi kasi ni Ma'am, wag mag-fillers. Puro tuloy fillers yung nasa isip ko ngayon. Okay, wag OA. Unable to link words, phrases, and sentences to form an idea. Kaya ka lang naman nagkaka-fillers kasi ayaw mong magka-dead air at pinupunan mo siya ng mga words para hindi magkaroon ng dead air. Wherein, meron naman talagang proper pausing when it comes to sentences. Hindi naman talaga kailangan laging tuloy-tuloy. At kailangan maalam ka sa linking words and discourse markers. I will be presenting a set of discourse markers later. Okay? Para matuto kayo kung paano simulan ng isang sagot or paano mo siya i-continue. Okay? May iba't iba tayong discourse markers and we will be discussing them today. Another cause is being extra nervous, self-conscious, at ang solution lang dyan, mag-practice. Because practice makes perfect. But nobody's perfect, so at least you're going towards the goal of perfection. Okay? It's okay to feel discomfort and to feel nervous. But what's not okay is you're not addressing that problem and you need to address it. The only way you can address it is through constant practice. As I said, nung una, ayoko mag-strength training. Kasi nagmumukha na akong tanga sa gym sa mga pinagagawa ko. But when I addressed my problem, that's when progress started. Kasi minsan, bulag-bulagan tayo sa mga weaknesses natin. Akala natin, okay lang, pabayaan lang. But then at the end, magsisisi ka kasi, di ka nakinig when I told you to address your problem. Okay? I'm a person I'm very communicative. Obviously. That's why this is my job. I'm a lecturer, right? I mean, I wouldn't be here if I'm not communicative. But what I mean is, even in my personal relationships, I want communication to be in its maximum potential. Kasi I feel like, kung walang magandang communication sa isang relationship, you don't really know the trajectory of it anymore. Okay? So gusto ko, nako-communicate ko yung thoughts ko all the time. Kasi mas okay yon kesa nagbe-build ka ng resentment, tapos isang araw sasabog ka na lang. Right? Communicate your thoughts. Address your problems. Ma'am, problema ko talaga tong pronunciation ko eh. Paano ba? Ano gagawin ko dito? There's nothing wrong with asking for help. That's the reason you're here. That's the reason why you enrolled in a review center. To have an accountable partner. Someone who will help you. Okay? Another cause of stuttering and fillers is limited vocabulary. Meron tayong dalawang klaseng hesitation. One hesitation when speaking in English is caused by limited vocabulary. Vocabulary, sorry. Limited vocabulary can cause stuttering because iniisip mo pa yung gusto mong word na gamitin na magpa-perfect ng sentence mo. Yung most appropriate word for your sentence, hindi mo siya agad maisip, name-mentee ka, name-mental block ka. Okay? Again, the reason bakit hindi madaling lumabas yung mga words sa'yo, sa speech mo, is because your brain is not yet accustomed to the English language. Hindi pa sapat yung immersion. Hindi pa sapat yung train of thoughts mo. That's why you need to practice every day. Listening, reading, writing, speaking in English. Mag-lock in ka lang ng 2 to 3 months. May makikita kang progress. Yung pangalawa naman, kung ba't nag-hesitate ang isang test taker is because of content-related hesitation. Hindi siya makapili ng isasagot niya. Hindi niya ma-filter agad yung sagot. For example, what's your favorite food? Ang dami mo nang naisip. Roast chicken, spaghetti, pesto, kebab. Yun yung content-related hesitation. Normal yon kasi indecisive tayo. Pero pag yung hesitation mo ay caused by limited vocabulary, dun ka titirahin sa vocabulary and lexical resource na score. Okay? Unclear question, unfamiliar with the topic. Minsan kaya ka din nagsastutter kasi hindi naging malinaw sa'yo yung tanong. Pwede mong ma-prevent to from happening. Because every single time na meron kang doubt sa tanong, you can always ask for repetition. Okay? Paano kung dumating yung time na, kasi ganito yan, pag hindi ka pamilyar sa topic na pinresent sa'yo ni examiner, ang mangyayari sa'yo, hindi ka magiging confident sa sagot mo. Mawawala ka sa momentum. Okay? Aaminin ko sa inyo, I am a person na lagi kong ina-update yung sarili ko sa global issues. I am aware of what's happening around me sa mundo. When it comes to environmental issues, updated ako. When it comes to animal, wildlife, updated din ako. When it comes to the education sector, technology, literary topics. But there is one topic na hindi ako confident about, and that's politics. Pero buti na lang, hindi ka itatanong about it sa IELTS. Pero if ever I'm with my circle of friends and we're starting to talk about politics, makikita nyo, hindi ako magsasalita. Because I don't have the confidence to talk about it. Aaminin ko, I'm not really interested in politics. Aware ako sa nangyayari, pero kung sasabihin nyo sa akin, let's have an argument, let's have a debate about it. No, I'm not gonna put myself in that spot because I know that I'm not assertive enough. And I only talk about topics that I'm assertive enough. Assertiveness means confidence. Mapapakita mo, mapaparamdam mo sa tao na alam mo yung sinasabi mo. And yeah, yun yung weakness ko. I'm not interested in politics, so never ask me about it, okay? So, ganun yung nangyayari pag unfamiliar yung topic. Nagsastutter ka kasi ina-attempt mong sagutin yung tanong pero wala nga, hindi mo mapiga yung sarili mo, di ba? So, always remember that IELTS is not an intellectual test. It does not measure or assesses your intellectual capacity. A person's intellectual capacity. No. It assesses your language proficiency in English. So whether you're familiar or not with the topic, you can still try different techniques on how you can answer. Bibigyan kita ng tips. Number 1, listen for the keywords. Ngayon, if tinanong ka about a difficult topic, sige, maghahanap ako ngayon ng sample ng difficult IELTS Part 3. Usually kasi sa Part 3 kayo nagkakatalo-talo. Part 1, madali lang ang Part 1 eh. Part 2, meron yan flow. Meron din yan guide questions. Pero pag Part 3, dito na papasok yung mga mahihirap na tanong at dito kayo magkakaroon ng unfamiliarity with the topic. Okay. Pipili ako ng isang topic. Do you think climate change will affect future generations significantly? I'm sure, pagdating sa ganitong klaseng tanong, mababawasan ang confidence ng mga test takers. Kasi hindi siya madaling tanong, tama ba? Do you think climate change will affect future generations significantly? The topic is climate change. Keywords, climate change, affect future generations. So, it's asking you if you agree or disagree. Yes or no. Sa ganitong case, pili ka lang ng isang side para hindi ka malito and you can stay consistent. Pwede mo naman siya sagutin in a way na hindi mo kailangan i-navigate towards a more difficult or complex discussion. Pwede mo siyang i-simplify, okay? Wait a minute. Okay. Okay, let me answer it in a way that I will really answer it, okay? Do you think that climate change will affect the future generation significantly? That's the question, okay? A discourse marker that you could use is I am 100% sure that climate change will immensely affect people in the future. Because in our current generation, we are already experiencing the consequences of the environmental things that people have done to Earth, such as deforestation, massive use of fossil fuel, intense manipulation of land, and definitely different kinds of pollutions, land, air, water pollution. All these are contributing to climate change, and we have not done enough defensive mechanism to reverse our actions. And at this rate, the future generation will be the number one who will be affected by the repercussions of our actions. If we do not become responsible in our own little ways on how to prevent it from becoming worse, definitely the future generation will experience the worst. Yun yung isasagot ko kung ako talaga kasi familiar ako sa topic at sapat yung vocabulary na pwede kong gamitin. Pero what if hindi nga sapat yung vocabulary at hindi sapat yung knowledge mo about climate change? Pwedeng simplihan lang natin yung sagot. Okay, ulitin ko yung tanong. So, um, do you think that climate change will affect the future generation significantly? Sisimplihan natin yung sagot. Yes. We live in an age wherein a lot of illnesses and diseases are caused by the effects of climate change. We've been facing heat wave, extreme heat, especially in my country, the Philippines. We are located near the equator, and we are one of the most hot countries in the globe. Every summer, it gets hotter every year. And if the calculation is correct, the future generation 50 years from now might not be able to bear the heat of the climate. Ganun lang. Di ba? Mas simple, pero it makes sense. Yun lang yung kaya kong i-explain about climate change eh. Bakit ipupush ko pa? Kung kaya ko naman i-explain sa mas simpleng paraan. Gets? Ngayon, let's say talagang yung topic hindi mo naranasan ever, na-encounter ever. Let's say yung topic is, should government spend more money on preventing diseases than treating them? Medyo mahirap to ha. Kasi it has to require you to know about medical related topics. Medyo outdated ka na. Para sa akin, hindi madali itong tanong na to. Should government spend more money on preventing diseases than treating them? Kasi ang broad ng topic na to, ang dami mong pwedeng isagot. Ngayon, kung wala ka talagang alam about the topic, it's much better to be honest about it. Honestly, I am not medically inclined and I don't have enough knowledge about that specific topic. But don't worry, as soon as I get home, I will do my research about it. O, di ba mas magandang pakinggan yun kesa naman ipilit mong sagutin yung tanong, magkakamali ka pag grammatically kasi kung ano-anong sentence na yung mapapagbuhol-buhol mo dyan, magkakaroon ka pa ng mispronunciations. Yung fluency mo, for sure, yung score mo sa fluency, it will be affected. So definitely, it's a big no. Dun ka na lang sa be honest about it and just let it go, okay? A lot of my students did that technique and they passed the speaking test. Because again, IELTS is not an intellectual test. It's an English proficiency test. It tests how well you can communicate your thoughts in English, not how intellectual you are. Okay? Or globally aware. Okay? So, this is gonna be a long list of linking words, discourse markers. Siguro hindi ko na to i-discuss in detail kasi self-explanatory naman to. Papakita ko lang sa inyo yung mga pwede nyong options pagdating sa discourse markers when you're trying to introduce opinions. Ito yung mga soft expressions. I guess, I think, I feel. Okay? Pag nag-e-express ka ng opinion mo. Okay? And then we have neutral or standard. In my opinion, I believe, from my point of view, personally, ayan, magaganda yan. Medyo, pag etong mga neutral expressions na itong ginamit mo, talagang maganda pakinggan. Okay? So, nasa handout naman yan. Don't worry. Ibibigay ko sa inyo yan later. So, ito yung extra IELTS tips na gusto kong matutunan ninyo when it comes to using discourse markers. Vary your opinion starters in the exam. Don't repeat I think in every sentence kasi ang pangit pakinggan, puro I think lang yung alam mong gamitin sa umpisa, 'di ba? Siyempre kailangan maganda rin yung mga baon mong words like, I strongly believe. There's no doubt that. 'Di ba? Medyo mas angat ka pakinggan 'pag gano'n yung mga opinion starters mo, 'di ba? I strongly believe studying abroad is beneficial because it allows you to experience different cultures. For example, I met students from 5 countries in my exchange program. So, kailangan lagi kang may reason at may example para maka-achieve ka ng higher score. Okay? These are the discourse markers that you can use when introducing reasons because since the main reason is that, one reason is, this is because, remember the tip that I gave you? REE. Your answers must be composed of those three. REE. Response, explanation, and example. So every time na magbibigay ka ng response, yes, I agree. No, I disagree. This is because. That's why, okay? My favorite food is roast chicken. The main reason is that it's easy to prepare. All I need to do is plate it. Sometimes I want it even I want my food to be hot, so I would use a microwave oven. But basically, roast chicken is something that you can buy from anywhere, especially in my hometown, because a lot of local business owners sell roast chicken, di ba? Lechon manok. One of the main reasons is that this can be explained by the fact that it's mainly due to these discourse markers, you can actually use them in writing too. So, after ng lecture na to, make sure na i-download nyo yung isa-send kong link for this handout, okay? So, meron din tayong discourse markers for introducing results of something. Okay? And then we have this leads to, this results in. And then we have consequently, as a consequence, in the long run, and this means, di ba nagturo ako last week, I taught about different discourse markers, different word clusters. Discourse markers are word clusters too. Pero ang pinaka-role niya ay mag-connect ng ideas. Okay? Pag sinabi kasing word clusters, they are words that are put together to function as one. Okay? That's why discourse markers are actually very effective. Diba? For example, talk about your habits. Okay. One of the habits that I've learned recently is the habit of walking. At first I used walking for my weight loss journey, but in the long run, I have learned that walking will immensely affect my overall health. And it can also help me prevent a lot of diseases in the future. O, di ba ang ganda pakinggan pag gumagamit ka ng word connectors? Parang ang lakas makasyala ng sagot mo. That's why, educate yourself with these discourse markers. and you will sound even more fluent. Okay? Meron din tayong mga discourse markers that express uncertainty. Kung hindi ka pa sure sa sagot mo, pwede ka namang magsabi ng maybe, perhaps, I suppose. It appears that, as far as I know, this is when you're trying to express your opinion, but you're uncertain. Okay? It's okay to show uncertainty, especially on the last part of your test, in part 3. Why? Because obviously you don't know the answers to everything, so it sounds realistic. It shows that you have language control, and it helps you avoid wrong or overconfident answers. Always give an opinion even if you're unsure. Because the moment na hindi ka nagsasalita at napakaiksi lang ng sagot mo, you're hesitant to answer. Ibig sabihin, pinapakita mo kay examiner na hindi sapat yung language variation mo. Kaya parang umiiwas ka sa sagot. Kaya naman pag tinanong ka, do you like traveling? Kahit hindi, oo ang sagot. Kasi iniiwasan natin na ang dating sa examiner, parang ayaw mong sumagot. Ibig sabihin, umiiwas ka. Kung hindi man yung sagot mo ay you don't like traveling, siguro dapat sabihin mo bakit hindi mo gusto ang traveling. But don't answer just with a no. No, I don't like traveling. I'm not into it. Pag mga ganon, paano i-assess the examiner? How can you give the examiner a reason to actually give you a high score if you're just coming up with really short answers? So whether you like traveling or not, give a substantial answer, okay? Now that I'm in my 30s, I'm not really into traveling anymore. Perhaps because as I get older, I have become more responsible with my finances. I have learned that I can still entertain myself and unwind doing activities that don't require me to spend too much money. That's why, even though traveling is something very trendy nowadays, I wouldn't like to jump into the bandwagon if it means that I would compromise our monthly budget. Ganun lang, okay? Okay, I'm sorry. Hindi lang yun lang. Alam ko naman na my answer is not that simple. Pero, gets niyo ba yung point? Even na hindi ako into traveling nowadays, I still made it to the point na hindi ako sasagot lang ng no or parang hindi ko ipaparamdam sa examiner na umiiwas ako sa sagot. Okay? Okay. Hang on. Let me just drink water. Bago tayo mag-move on, sana all ganun lang kadali mag-move on, no? I'm just kidding. Alright. Sino sa inyo may problem pagdating sa stuttering, sa fillers? Sino yung namamroblema sa ganon? Tell me. At gusto ko din malaman why. What's causing that? Nag-iisip pa po ako ng isasagot. Okay. Hesitation. Alright, you're stuttering. Napapansin mo ba nang nagsa-stutter ka whenever you speak? Why do you think you're stuttering? What causes it? What causes you to stutter? Try to think, ano yung nagko-cause ng stuttering? Okay. Vocabulary is the main perpetrator. Kala mo naman talaga criminal topic eh, no? The main perpetrator of stuttering kay Rai is lack of English words, which means you need to enhance your vocabulary. Am I right? How about you, AJ? Okay, vocabulary then. I understand. I suggest i-watch nyo yung lecture ko, 50 synonyms, and the recent one, which is vocabulary 3, part 1 and part 2. Okay? Yes, you can watch that. Okay. So, ideas lacking organization. This will be on the next lecture that we will have because we don't have time anymore. I will stop the recording, pero kakausapin ko pa kayo. So stay. Please stay.